The first step, accept that you are deceitful. It's just the way you are. It's the way I am. Sigmund Freud's most profound contribution to the evolution of the human species was his discovery that there are feelings and thoughts that we have that we must hide even from ourselves because we fear if we were to feel them or to express them, we wouldn't be able to survive. And so they get tossed into the unconscious. And they're buried there only to resurface in hurtful, often hurtful and deceitful ways. We learn to come to believe that we cannot survive disapproval. We cannot survive other people's perception that we are inadequate in any way. And so we misrepresent ourselves in some kind of way. We blow ourselves up a bit, or we diminish ourselves, or we exaggerate, we do little things in order just to, help others to feel like we're more acceptable. We need to be loved, right? So, in our fear, we do this. We deceive others and we deceive ourselves. And we just need to accept this. That's the first step. The second step is to not take it so personally. As I was saying, that doesn't make us like irredeemable sinners. It's just that we're afraid. Don't take it so personally. If fear is at the root of all lying and self-deception, then what's required is to replace judgment of ourselves and others with just intense curiosity. When we find ourselves exaggerating a detail of the story that makes ourselves look better, it's interesting. Just catch yourself and go, why did I do that? Like, what was that about? Just trace it back. Get curious. Follow it back to the source. And somewhere, you'll find this fear of feeling inadequate, right? Of wanting to be loved, of being seen to be a good person. Suspend the judgment. Get really, really curious. Follow it back to its source. Now, these two first steps should be enough to take care of all the little lies and self-deceptions and misrepresentations that are born of the fear of not being loved. This isn't easy to do, right? Because we have to face some of this stuff about us, and it's hard. But most of it can be taken care of with these, if you're interested in becoming a person in whom there is no deceit. Try that. It's the third step where we need to go a little bit deeper. That is a little more profound, a little more difficult. And the third step is to make friends with your shadow. With your shadow. Carl Jung, I think, was the first person to come up with this. He said this was an archetypal figure that comes up in our dreams. This is the unsavory parts of ourselves that we don't really like, and so we keep hidden. We have thoughts and feelings that we simply can't accept, so we shove them in the basement. And like any child that's been neglected, and it's shoved off to the basement there, what happens is that a child grows up to become a monster. And the monster is us. And he said that archetype, that pattern of human experience is the shadow. And we all have a shadow. So here's an example, a story of the tangled tale that an unredeemed shadow within us can weave. Say a child misbehaves and is sent away from the table to a room. And in the room, she mutters to herself, I hate my mother. Right? And a matter of fact, she has the thought, I wish my mother was dead. This happens. I had these kind of thoughts myself, I have to tell you. I remember being sent to my room and having these thoughts. But if the child is in that stage of development, which some call magical, the child actually believes that what she thinks is going to come to reality. She has that magical thought. If I think this is going to happen, my mother's going to die. Oh my God. So those feelings and those thoughts are unacceptable. I mean, how do you have those kinds of feelings for someone upon whom you are absolutely dependent for life. You can't have them. And so they get sent to the basement. And as she grows up, the child learns to carefully avoid any kind of situation, any kind of person that might trigger those feelings. This takes a lot of energy to organize your life so that you'll never have to feel that again. Because if you feel that again, what comes with that is I'm going to die because I can't live with those feelings because my mother, and this is all unconscious, right? So the child grows up, falls in love, but for the first time, she has an experience that her new love is disapproving in some kind of small way. And she feels like she's been sent from the table again, right? So she starts in her mind turning over every annoying habit and small gesture of his, and every minor offense becomes a major character flaw, and she starts to feel hate towards this guy. It's a very strong reaction. She tells her friends, and they said, you've lost it a bit here, like that, it's not great what he did, but it doesn't deserve that kind of reaction. She's ready to leave. Remember, she's got this ancient feeling, this primal predicament. And she needs to send all of those thoughts and feelings back to the basement. And so instead of feeling the hatred, she reinterprets the whole story of their relationship in such a way that it becomes perfectly clear that it's him who hates her. This is an interesting trick that we do. It's not her that hates him. She can't hate him. It's not okay, right? So she projects all these feelings onto him, and she's convinced, and she's developed the whole narrative of the ways in which he hates her. That's why she has to leave. And of course, he's hurt. He's dumbfounded. And she says to herself, isn't this just like all men? I mean, men, what do you do with them? So, it is a tangled web we weave. She's not consciously lying, is she? But she is deceiving herself. She's a victim of her shadow. And the sad thing is, she will keep doing variations on this theme in every intimate relationship that she ever gets into, unless she learns to deal with her shadow.